I'm at a loss for words. Last week, we were in the 60s as far as temperature. 60s, almost 70 degrees. It was warm outside. And now we're freezing again. Welcome to Utah. Utah will get your hopes up with warm weather and then just shit on your hopes with snow. Last week we were 66 degrees about, and the next day it snows. We have 2 inches of snow and it won't go above 20 degrees. I used to like the cold weather when I did stuff in the cold weather, and now I'm getting tired of it. I need to move to San Diego or Arizona. No, Arizona's too hot. But okay, rant over. So in one of the videos before, I mentioned that I'm going to do some DIY videos or do-it-yourself videos. So today we're going to do that. I'm going to install a MOMO steering wheel on Clyde, so our 97 Supra, with a quick release mechanism while retaining the honking feature, so we can still honk our horn. For those of you that have been with us from the beginning or have at least seen that thank you video when we got 100 subscribers, you know that we had a goal of hitting 500 subscribers by the end of February. Here we are on the 24th, so we have a few days left. We're almost to 400. I blame myself. I've only rolled out a couple videos since that thank you video, so I haven't gotten you guys a lot of footage, but we're pushing that 500 goal, so we're getting pretty close. So I'm gonna post a couple more videos hopefully this weekend, one of which is going to be an exhaust video and, like I said, a DIY video, and then see if we can hit that goal here in the next few days. So first things first, we need to disconnect the battery. As you can see, Clyde is drinking from the battery tender. But you want to disconnect the battery. You don't want to be wrenching away at the steering wheel and then the airbag deploys and then you have a wrench in your eye socket. Okay, once you have the battery disconnected, we can start getting to the fun stuff, which is tearing everything apart. Okay, just to start, I have never done a DIY video before, so I apologize. This is probably going to be a little bit messy. Second, I'm not a mechanic. I mean, maybe a shade tree mechanic, which is what some people call it. So I like to do things, like I try things and I teach myself things, but I don't know a lot of things. So I just like to dive into it and try it, and most of the time it works. I haven't run into too many issues, so it's not like I'm an expert. And then third of all, I've never done a steering wheel before. I'm doing a DIY video on something I should probably watch a DIY video on, but hopefully it goes well. And from what I know, a lot of steering wheels are very similar, so this doesn't have to apply just to the Toyota Supra. For the most part, steering wheels are about the same, so just understanding this one could help with any model for the most part. Okay, so to get started, most steering wheels have access points on the side. They normally have like a plastic cover just on the side that you can pop off. So on this one, and you could use just a screwdriver with a flathead or something probably less abrasive. This might damage things, so just be really, really careful. Okay, see that piece just kind of popped right out. Same thing on this other side. And I kind of just used the screwdriver to get it started and then pried it up with my fingers, just because my fingers aren't going to cause as much damage as the screwdriver does. Once you have those off, you can see inside the whole steering wheel, and there's a few bolts in there you can go in and grab. On this particular steering wheel, the bolts in there have the Torx heads. So it's a kind of a unique screwdriver head or tool. Oh, and another thing, when you are taking this off, make sure the steering wheel is straight and in line. So when you put on the new steering wheel, it's in the right place and you're not driving straight like this. Okay, so if you can see this, it's a Torx. It's the T30 as far as the size goes. So just break those free. And as you can see, I've loosened up those bolts, and now this whole center section is really loose. So I'm assuming it's just those 2 bolts on this one. All right. So there's the bolt. I don't know if you can see if we can get a. There you go. So that's what it looks like. Really small with the Torx head. And there's the other one. Let's see. So I think it's just, if you just do a nice tight tug, there's just like little push clips down on the bottom. There we go. And it comes right out. And then there's your attachment for the airbag in there. Okay, so here's where we're at right now. We took the 2 Torx screws out from the sides here, which would then able to pull off this centerpiece because it was just being held by these other clips. So just a nice tight pull, got that loose. Now we're trying to disconnect the airbag, just the electrical. So this little clip right here that kind of has that horseshoe, it just kind of flips down and locks it into place. It has the 2 little clips on the side, so you just pinch it and pull it and it just unhooks. And then the other clip is just right here where it connects, where this cord connects into the big yellow piece, or just this whole plug. There's a little clip right there you just push down on and pull that out, and then you're done. That piece comes out, and now onto the steering wheel. So here's your airbag, completely removed. Now we just need to get this piece off, and then we're on to the new steering wheel. Okay, so when you look at everything that's going on in here, you have the wires coming out. So this one was for the airbag. You have one here for the cruise control that's screwed in right here. The only thing I see that's really connecting everything to the steering column is the big nut right here in the center. So I'm going to go at that, but I also see that this cruise control is connected to this section that we're going to pull off, but it's also connected to a plug right here that goes into the steering column. So if I were to just undo the nut and pull it off, it's still going to be connected with that. So I'm going to unplug the cruise control, and if you look, there's a little clip under here that you can try to pinch with your finger. What I did is I just used a screwdriver, push the clip in to pull it out, and just push it up, and it comes right out. It's a little bit tricky, you might have to mess with it a little bit, but once you have it out, now it looks like it literally is just this center nut that's holding it all together. So once we get that undone, I feel like it'll pull right out. So let's see. I'm going to support it with my knees, see if that works. Oh, it actually wasn't too bad. Get that back centered. Yeah, so that came out pretty easy. Huh. Well, there you have it. When I was looking at it, it didn't look like there's anything else. And I remember reading that you have to give it a real tight pull. And that's what I did. And now you have this left. So I think we're probably going to have to undress this stuff and try to hook it up to where we can get that horn working on the new steering wheel. I'm going to take off this piece right now and see if that takes me down to where I want to be. Oh, plugged in. Okay, so we're further down now. So a little update on where we're at. So once I remove this, I think to retain the honk function, it's one of these wires down here. I have to tie it into the new hub. And so if you look at it, if you don't care about the horn, then basically from here, you just install your new hub that you bought, and then the steering wheel bolts right into that. The new steering wheel will bolt right into that. So I have the NRG hub and it has the wires so you can retain the horn. But if you don't care, you just slide it in on the teeth, and you get that big nut. You just screw it on, and then the new steering wheel bolts right into here, or the quick release will bolt right into there. And to make it look clean, you know, those covers will go right on there so it matches flush right up with the new hub. So it looks good, but I want to retain that horn. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to tie into one of these wires down here and solder it to this copper piece on the back of the hub. And then that way on the steering wheel, when I push the horn button, it'll connect and make that, you know, connection and go through there. So I think I'm gonna have to hardwire it into this and solder it onto this back copper piece. Okay, so I found out how to hook up the horn. I'm gonna have to buy a brass piece that can connect to the brass piece on the back of the hub. Just touch it and allow me to steer while it's still touching it. I can't wire it up, otherwise if I steer, the wire will start twisting and getting caught around here. So I'm gonna have to go out and get a copper piece, you know, wire it up to the copper piece and have it rigged up to where it just touches it so I can steer, and then whenever I hit the horn, it'll still have that connection. So just for time today, we're just going to reassemble the steering wheel without the horn, so I'll be hornless for the first little while until I go out and get that brass piece. So maybe I'll post another video just on how to hook up the horn to be functional with a quick disconnect MOMO steering wheel. But for now, we're just going to reassemble it, get that MOMO steering wheel on there with the quick disconnect, and then we'll do the horn later. So what I've done is I've cut that. Let me see if I can find that. So I've cut the wiring to disconnect this, the original connector from the stock wheel. So if I ever want to put it back, I just have to wire these two, the yellow up together. This will just kind of hide behind the covering and behind the hub. So we're going to slide the hub on. You want to make sure to keep the NRG emblem up, or just make sure you know the orientation of the hub. Just make sure it's pointing up, straight up when you slide it onto the teeth. And you're going to kind of set it into place as far as it goes. So now it's hooked in with those teeth. And what I've done with the horn wires is I've just kind of connected it to itself and just kind of tucked it in there. So then we'll take that nut that we originally took off that was holding the steering wheel in place and get that put back on. Get that tightened on there, and make sure that you do check the torque specs for your steering wheel. So on the Supra, I found it to be 26 foot-pounds. Just make sure you check yours. I'm sure it's pretty similar between other cars, but 26 foot-pounds. Once you have that hub in there, as you can see, I have the steering wheel already kind of assembled. I have that quick release put on there. So all it really was these bolts. I just bolted it on to that quick release. So you'll want to undo that, just so the little piece comes out that's going to be connecting to your hub. Once you have this piece out, let's see, I'll bring it up a little bit closer. So this is my quick release, I guess, piece that connects to the hub itself. And then all you're going to do is use the supplied bolts, bolt it into the hub here. So you're just going to bolt it into the hub, kind of tuck these wires since we're not going to be using the wires. Tuck the wires in, bolt it into the hub there, and then you're good to go. You can use the quick release and just slides right in. Alright, so just make sure once again that NRG emblem, or the dot that they have in there, or the indent, is up to the top. And one by one, just screw them in. All right, and there you have it. Then you just take your steering wheel with the quick connect, push it right in, and you're good to go. And then you can just pop it right off. What I got from NRG as well, which is really cool, because you know this is kind of it's a nice security feature as well. Pull off your steering wheel, you know, nobody's going to steal the car, they can't steer it, but you don't want to take your steering wheel everywhere, so most people just pull it off and put it in their back seat. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose. Well, NRG has this, which is a locking mechanism that has the quick connect or quick disconnect. You slide it on and you can lock it. You can just take the keys, so the steering wheel can stay in your car. Here, I'll get a closer look at this. So here's that. So kind of nice. Comes with its own little custom key for it. So the steering wheel can stay in the car with, you know, so you don't have to lug it around everywhere. But then there's no way for them to connect it. Or even if you did take your steering wheel, some people have steering wheels that are into stealing cars, so they can just connect it on there and take it anyway. So this kind of prevents all of it. You lock that on there, take the key, and you're good to go. And there you have it. Got the piece back together. Looks pretty clean. You know, once we get the horn working again and I wire it in, you'll get rid of this. I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, you can see that white plug that's in there. So I'll get that wired up so you won't see that in there. It'll look a little bit cleaner. And then I'll have that, the horn function. So once again, steering wheel pops right on. Here's the horn, the little MOMO emblem. So as soon as we get that copper piece and I put it in, then that'll honk. So looking forward to that. But I wanted to show you the locking mechanism that I showed you earlier. So it comes with these cool little keys that are unique to each one. And you can kind of unlock it and lock it that way. So you slide it on, just like the steering wheel. Let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when you unlock it, you can slide it to the unlocked position. So I think you can slide it on there. Let's see, top. Click it over to lock. Maybe. There we go. So locked in place. So now nobody can take your car. They can't put on their own steering wheel. Even if they have yours, they can't get yours on there, because you have your key with you, hopefully. And then pop it out, slide it over to the unlock, and it slides right off. Super awesome. Okay guys, so just a quick recap. You can't even see me. Hello. Just a quick recap on what we did. So real simple. If you're not looking to hook up the horn, it's really quick. So we took off the two plastic pieces on the side of the steering wheel that gave us access to those two nuts, the Torx nuts. So you undo those, which loosened up that center piece. So once you had that loose, you just tugged on that and it pulled it all the way out. So and then all you had to deal with was unplugging a lot of those electrical, the airbag and the horn and the cruise control, which if you notice, no cruise control, but that's okay. I didn't have cruise control anymore anyway, so that doesn't matter. So no loss there. So once we had the airbag out, disconnected from that, it was just that center bolt right in the middle. So we undid that, and it depends on the car. Sometimes you need a steering wheel puller. You can rent those for free, or mine was real easy. Well, not easy, but I just kind of wiggled and pulled hard, and it came right out, right off of the splines of that center, the steering column. So once you have that out, It's a matter of, I had that yellow connector, the electrical connector piece. I had to cut that and get that out of the way, and that's it. Once you have that, you connect your NRG hub with that center bolt or the center nut, or whatever hub you're using. You just use that center nut to install that hub, and then you just bolt your steering wheel directly to the hub with these bolts. If you're not doing a quick release, if you are doing a quick release like I showed you, you just bolt this to the hub. You connect the disconnect to the steering wheel using those, and then you're good to go. It just slides right on. So that's it. Alright, so there you have it. It was my first DIY video I've ever done. I fumbled over a lot of my instructions and words, so I had to keep refilming. It's hard. I commend all you people that are doing all these DIY videos. I commend you. I mean, it's a needed thing to have. I've watched countless of DIY videos, but it's hard to do it and do it right. There's a lot of people that'll do it and you don't get enough information, which I'm sure happened in this video today, but the people that do it right, it's an art. I totally commend you for it. So I tried my best. Hopefully it helps anyone. Hopefully it helps someone. If not, you know, it's just me trying to have a little bit of fun. I got a new steering wheel on it. It looks good. So if it helped you out, give me a thumbs up down below. If it didn't, give me a thumbs down. Or comment down below if you have any questions on it, or any questions on anything else that you want to see me do. Either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to film the exhaust clip. So a couple of you have been asking about the Boost Logic 4-inch exhaust and the Boost Logic manifold. So I'm going to film some footage, hopefully today. It's getting really cold. Either today, if I can get it in, as long as the weather holds, or tomorrow. Tomorrow's looking a little bit bad as far as the weather, so I'm hoping to get it done today. So I'll post this DIY. You should see that today, so Friday, and then I'll get the exhaust clip put together, and you should see it tomorrow or Sunday. So hopefully look forward to that. Like I said, if you have any questions on this DIY video, don't be too hard on me. It's the first time I've ever done it. I'm sure I did a lot of things wrong as far as instructing you, but it was the first time I even looked at the steering wheel. I didn't even look at a DIY steering wheel removal before this, so that was probably my first mistake, or any instructions on how to remove it. But I figured it'd be something fairly easy to take a crack at myself without looking at any instructions, and maybe it helped with the DIY video being a little bit more raw. So let me know if you liked it. If not, I'll have more to come. Hopefully I get better at it. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.